So in this section today we are going to take a look at Lambda, AWS Lambda. As you know, it's a serverless kind of service, and we'll try to demo something over it. And before we start, let me show you. So in the services section, you type. So in the compute section, you can see Lambda. So you just need to click over here, and you will come into this section. So let's take a look at what we are trying to demo today. So as you can see, so this is your simple storage bucket service, that's S3 bucket, and this is Lambda, and this is our EC2. So let's assume that we have an EC2, and we can start or stop this EC2 using this Lambda function. So uh, we would split this demonstration in two parts. In the first section, we will create a Lambda function which we would manually trigger to start or stop instance. This would be our part one. In the part two, what we would do is, instead of triggering this Lambda function manually, we would create a bucket, and we would ensure that whenever we put any object into this bucket, that should trigger this Lambda function, which then would start or stop this instance. If it sounds complicated to you, I think let's get started with this part first. So let's create Lambda function to start or stop EC2 instance. So here in the EC2 section, I have my this instance which is already running. So it's into running status right now, and let me share the code. So this is a piece of code that would do the magic for us, and let's see what it does. So I'll go into the Lambda, and I'll say create function. So here on this screen, so we are creating a Lambda function right now, and let me name this as my Lambda. So my Lambda, so this is a kind of Python code. So I would be using, let's use Python 3.6, and so my Python would be starting and stopping EC2 instance. So of course it would need an IAM role to talk to instance, or to issue a command, start or stop command to the instance. So you can say create a new role. So it would create a new role based on the service, EC2 service. So I'll go ahead. So this is a screen where you can see my hyphen lambda. So my function is created, and this is a designer where we can design our lambda. We'll quickly take a look at how to design that. And this is a default code that is written. It's in Python. This is a kind of handler function. I'll explain you in detail what that is. And these are environment variables. If you want to pass any variables, you can tag this. These are so this is the role information. So you can see it created this role for my lambda function, and here the basic setting where you can select how much MB of RAM do you want to use, or what should be the time of your script. So timeout for my script is 3 seconds. If you think your code runs too long, you can select 300 seconds, that's 5 minutes. Or Amazon has increased that as well, limit as well, so you can increase to some minutes. So you would be charged based on how many MB or GB of RAM you are using. The maximum you can use is 3 GB RAM or 3000 MB. I'll go with the minimum, and this is the max. This is a timeout. I'll keep it default, but this is where you can play if you think your code needs more RAM or more time to run. And X-ray, let's not talk about X-ray now, but network, I mean, you can select it to run into some VPC as well. So let's get started. So you can see three parts, like trigger, lambda, and destination. So here I'll click on lambda, and I'll come down to write my piece of code. So here I am pulling some libraries. So Boto is the library to issue CLI commands, and here I'm copying my instance ID. So let's capture the instance ID of our instance. So ID starts with I and ends with 0766. So let me copy that ID. Okay, seems like I have copied the same ID. And here I'm calling a function boto3.client ec2. So whenever I would say ec2, ultimately it would call this function or this library, you can say, and lambda client. So here again I'm calling boto3 client lambda. So and message. So this is again a variable where I'm storing a message. It's stopped your instance. So right now, since my instance is running, so let's try to stop my instance. And this is a function which actually would stop your instance and which would run. So note that this is a function named lambda handler. That's why we have this as lambda underscore handler. So I'll talk more on event and context at the end of this course session. Let's discuss how to stop instances. So I'll have written message as stop, and this is a piece of code that actually stops your instance. So EC2, when I say EC2, so actually this is a piece of code, a library that would run dot stop instance. So this is the command that would be issued. Instance IDs is equal to, it would run on instance ID for this variable. So instance ID will, this is my instance. So and a message would be printed that your instance are stopped, and instance ID would be printed, and it would return this message, return mesg, that's again stopped your instance. So I'll, since I've created this function and copied this code, I'll say save. Initially default code was different, so I have saved my code, and I'll say test. So when I say test, you could see this code. So these are various values or parameters, you can say, by which you can test your function. So even you can copy your you can say instance ID over here. So these are keys and values. So this is the value that I can pass. I'll name this test function as test. It's all okay if you keep this null, even that's fine, because the main piece of code is running is what you have written in the lambda. So I'll say create. So this test function is created, and now we'll check again. So my instance is I'm sorry, yeah, okay, so you can see my instance is in running state. Now I'll run this piece of code. I'll say test. It failed, so let me check. Okay, it failed due to the okay, unauthorized. Seems like the stop permission was not given to my lambda. Just give me a second. So I'm not sure if by mistake I changed my role, but what you can do is I'll quickly take a look at this role, my lambda role. So let's go into IAM service. If you don't get this error, then we should be good. Ideally, when we should not get this error, but let's try to troubleshoot this quickly. So it has got a basic execution policy, and if I edit this JSON, okay, it has permission only to write logs and not over AWS. So I think I'll change this role quickly. For now, I'll change it to temporary lambda, and I'll show you what this role has. So I'll save this, and I'll show you what this temporary role has, the one that I have right now. I'll cancel this. So this is a temporary lambda role that I have created, to which I have given Amazon EC2 full access. So I have attached a policy. So I've given full access. That means you can start, stop, and do whatever with the instance that I can. I mean, it can even terminate as well. So right now I have attached this policy to this instance and I have saved my code, and now again I'll say test, and you can see it executed. It printed message stopped your instance. This is just because I said it to return a message, and it said so. You can see it has stopped this instance. So let's quickly take a look at what is happening with our instance. So if I refresh this, you can see my instance is going for a stoppage. So this is just because of the Lambda code, and so this is my Lambda piece of code. So right now I'm triggering this manually. Now Lambda has a functionality where it can even be triggered based on events. So this is a trigger. If I go to my block diagram again, right now we ran this Lambda code manually to trigger stoppage of this instance. What if I want it to trigger based on some event? So let's say there is a bucket, and if I put something into bucket, that should trigger the Lambda, and Lambda should start or stop the instance. So I will do is I'll quickly create a bucket. So let's go ahead for the creation of bucket. I'll name this as demo 999. Okay, it exists. So 2020 999 2020. So this is an arbitrary name that I'm giving to bucket. Okay, so this is the bucket that I have created, and now what I will do is I'll go into Lambda. I'll say add trigger. For the examination sake, guys, you will have to understand what is a trigger. So there are various services that can trigger Lambda function. You can see API Gateway IoT. It's very important for you to understand this services. So before you go for the exam, make sure you know the services which would trigger Lambda. So since here I want S3, I'll select S3. I want my S3 to trigger Lambda, and S3, you can see I have two buckets, Elastic Beanstalk and Demo 99920. I want to use this bucket. I'll quickly show you my buckets as well. So if I come to my S3, I have two buckets, and I want this bucket to trigger the event or Lambda. And so whenever you can choose whether you want to trigger Lambda on put, post, or copy of objects. Let's trigger it for all the events. Even if you copy or change an object, modify an object, the event would be triggered. So I'll quickly say add. So I have enabled a trigger on my bucket. So you can see here S3 is appears. So whenever I'll upload something to S3, it would trigger Lambda function. Let's modify our Lambda function a bit. So right now, since my instance is in a stopped state, so of course I would want my instance to start. So let's modify our Lambda code. So now in my Lambda code, what I would do is I would simply, instead of stop, I would change it to start. And of course I would like to change my message as well. Started your instance. Started your instance. So this print message is different than this message, because this message is shown as the output. So this message, what you see is because of return message. So just to ensure the change, I'll make this exclamation. Okay, so now what I'm saying here is my instance ID is this, started when the code is triggered. So this command would be run, and I'll save this Lambda code. Now this Lambda code would be triggered when I upload anything to my S3 bucket. So let's go into bucket, and before I upload any object, let's take a quick look at our instance. So my instance, as you can see, is in a stopped state, and now I'll upload an object to my S3. I'll say upload, add files, and let me add some random file. Let's say upload. So my file is getting uploaded. Let's wait for a while. Okay, so my file just got uploaded and it would have triggered Lambda function. So let's wait and refresh this. So you can see it's into pending state. That means it's uh, the action of uploading a file into this bucket triggered Lambda function, and my Lambda function had this code to run to start the instance, and it started the instance. And let's wait for a while to ensure that our bucket, I mean, instance started. So you can see my instance is in running state. So that's the magic of serverless. That's Lambda. It I mean, I never created any instance for this Lambda to run. So you can do a lot of things with the Lambda. One quick thing before we end the session. So guys, I would like to end the session with the explanation of event and context. So this is based on input and output of the system. So event is something, the input. Of course, this Lambda function would need some input to get triggered, and what that input is. So when the moment I upload anything in the bucket, so there is an event. Let me explain with this. So there is a object being created in that bucket, and the event is put. So this is what would, this is the event that would trigger this Lambda. So this event is being captured by Lambda. And context is nothing but a runtime information that this function or this context passes to the Lambda when this script is running. So it's nothing but so it captures the duration when this I mean, for how many millisecond did my code run, and what was the RAM allocated to it, how much am I built, so what was the size of RAM. So this is the runtime information. In fact, even my function name, it's my Lambda. So this is the runtime information that is being passed to the Lambda. So returned in this instance when the function is actually running. So event is something that is captured to trigger event or trigger lambda. And when the lambda is running, context is the information that is captured. You can also write logs into CloudWatch groups. You can write create log groups or log streams. So this is the importance of event and context, and that's what I had in this session for lambda. Hope you understand this concept and like it as well. So this is a serverless concept again. Thank you.